the life of the child. Now, this is the first right. The second right, the father has to pay the mother and make sure that the health of mother is fine until the baby is born. As the explicit ayah says, وَإِن كُنَّ أُولَاتِ حَمْلٍ فَأَنْفِقُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ حَتَّى يَضَعْنَ حَمْلَهُنْ. Pay them, pay child support and allowance until the baby is born. What reason? To make sure that the baby is in a good and healthy condition. This is the prenatal law. Once the baby is born, there are many rules and many rights that the baby gains. One of them is that the father or the parents have to give him a good name. Choose a nice and good name for the child. Second, to make sure that he's taught well, to put him in a good school, to make sure that he learns well. Al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, عَلِّمُوا أَبْنَاءَكُمْ مِنْ عِلْمِنَا لَا تَسْبِقكُمُ الْمُرْجِئَةِ. Meaning that this child is your trust. This child is a valuable element in society. Teach him from our knowledge. Don't give him to others to teach him. What others will be teaching him? Definitely something that you will not be happy later on. So make sure that the child is getting taught according to Islamic values. And as he grows up, as he reaches the level of maturity, you have to make sure that he will find the right spouse. At an early age, when he becomes mature enough, at that time, it is the responsibility of the parents to get the child married. Of course, I don't want to instigate our younger generation now to go back home and tell their parents, demand for a wife or husband. But this is a responsibility of the parents. Once the boy or the girl reach the age of maturity, at that time, it is their duty and responsibility to make sure that they have a good spouse. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. There are many factors that affect the morality of the child. And there are many factors who help gain those moralities. One of them is knowledge and wisdom. You see certain people or certain children do certain things, misbehaving and doing bad things, not because they want to. Rather, their scope of knowledge, their ability to comprehend still has not developed to a certain level. Still premature. Therefore, once they grow and they acquire this knowledge, then you will see that they start to behave accordingly. This is done either passively, meaning that the parents lay back and relax and let the child grow by himself and acquire this knowledge, either through his peers or through school or through TV sets and watching cartoons, and then he will learn those things, or to become active, to teach the children. Psychologists put those steps in 3 steps how a child learns. The first one, the first stage, is the inquisition state, where the child at age of 2 and 3 start to acquire those sets of morality. From where? Obviously from his parents. To see his parents, his father or his mother, how they act. And at that time he will get those. As he reaches ages 6, 7, and 8, he starts to adopt to those sets of moralities. At age 14 to 15 and 16, it is the time that he develop those sets of morality, and he become having this state of that is called self-recognition, and becomes independent. So if you want to teach your son or your daughter and they are at age of 15 and 16, you want to teach them a new set of moralities, I should tell you good luck. Because at that time, it is too late for you to teach them what you desire. You should start from very, very beginning. At an early age, you go to the masjid, take your son, take your daughter with you, even if they are 2 or 3 years old. When you do your prayers, make sure that your son and your daughter are standing next to you. Put a tiny turba with them, buy them a prayer mat, and let them start with you. Because by the age that they get to 13 and 14, and you want to introduce prayers to them, it will take another 5 or 6 years until they get adapted to that. So start from an early age. Here is Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is telling his son, Imam al-Hasan, says, Ya bunay, innama qalbu al-hadathi kal-ard al-khaliya. The heart of a child is like an empty, fertile land. كلما ألقي فيها من شيء قبلته. Whatever you throw, whatever seed you throw in this fertile land, it will accept it and will grow. فبادرتك قبل أن يقسو قلبك. So before your heart becomes stiff and you are exposed to the corruption of the society, I came to teach you. فبادرتك قبل أن يقسو قلبك وينشغل لبك. So start while the child at an early stage. The second factor is, of course, the family. Those children learn those moralities from their parents. Now, if the father is violent, if the mother is alcoholic, if the family is disintegrated, what would you expect their children to be? When the father or the mother, they always nag each other, or they are divorced in a single parent family, it will be very difficult. I'm not saying it is impossible, but it would be very, very difficult to make sure that the children are checked in line. Therefore, even if you hate your spouse, even if you think that life with your spouse is impossible, we have an element, brothers and sisters, that is called sacrifice. You know, this life is not our only life. According to Western ideology, they tell you, yes, don't ruin your life because of a spouse. That's correct if you don't have children, or your children are already old and secure. But if you have insecure children, they're young, it is incumbent upon us to make sure that we sacrifice, even if the spouse is a bad spouse. Even the spouse does not worth that we would stay with them. Make sure that your children would become a healthy element in society. Because if you divorce, those children will have the negative influence on those children will be so great that they would become deviant. If you check the survey,